Greetings, and welcome to another 9 to 5 recap. This time we will look at a story about a wife who feels like she can have her cake and eat it too. Let's see how his story goes. I will keep the content coming, so as always, give me a like, shoot me a comment or subscribe if you are feeling friendly today. I also take suggestions for story ideas, or emails from people that would like their own story to be featured on the channel. But anywho, let's get into it. Let's set the scene. Me, a 34-year-old male, and my wife, a 32-year-old female named Vanessa, asked for a hall pass to go on a spiritual retreat in Bali with her yoga instructor. She called it personal expansion. I smiled and told her to go for it. Then I used that week to fly to Tokyo with the one female colleague she despised, secured a multi-million-dollar contract, and got promoted. When I got back, I had divorce papers waiting. She calls me a monster, but I think she just got her first real taste of a world that doesn't revolve around her. I've known Vanessa for 7 years, married for 4. My story is simple. I grew up in a blue-collar family in Ohio. My dad was a mechanic who smelled of grease and integrity, my mom a school secretary who ran our house with quiet efficiency. They taught me the value of a dollar and the dignity of hard work. I remember my dad coming home after a 12-hour shift, hands scrubbed raw but never clean, and telling me, "Alex, a man is only worth what he builds with his own 2 hands." I put myself through college with scholarships and part-time jobs, and now I lead an AI development team at a major tech firm. I don't just earn good money, I'm proud of how I earned it. Vanessa's story is different. She grew up in a Greenwich, Connecticut mansion, the daughter of a real estate mogul. Her life has been a seamless transition from one privilege to the next. I met her through a mutual friend at a charity gala I'd been dragged to by my boss. She was dazzling, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in my work. I was captivated by her charm. For a long time, I genuinely believed she had substance beneath the polish, that she'd outgrown the princess in the tower mentality. I was catastrophically wrong. The early years were good, filled with a genuine connection that I thought was unshakable. But slowly, subtly, the entitlement that was her birthright began to seep through the cracks. The first major fissure appeared about a year ago. Her friend group, a coven of equally pampered women, discovered Aura, a wellness studio so exclusive it felt more like a cult. The membership was $500 a month, and that was just to walk in the door. Vanessa had to join. She framed it as a journey into mindfulness, but I knew it was about status. It was the new place to be seen. Within a month, her yoga instructor, a man-bun charlatan named Julian, became her everything. He wasn't just a teacher, he was a life guide, a spiritual guru. Our conversations became littered with his pronouncements. Julian says my aura is an incredibly rare shade of indigo. Julian thinks I have the potential to achieve true enlightenment. He was a master manipulator, feeding her ego, and she was starving for it. Our joint account, which I primarily funded, became her personal slush fund. $1,000 linen outfits for yoga sessions, outrageously priced wellness tinctures Julian recommended, private energy work sessions. I tried to talk to her about it once. We were in our kitchen, and I laid out the credit card statement. "Ness, this is getting out of hand. We're spending over $2,000 a month on this place." She looked at me with genuine pity, as if I were a simpleton who couldn't grasp a higher concept. "Alex, it's not an expense. It's an investment in my spiritual well-being." Julian says you can't put a price on enlightenment. The red flags started multiplying. She guarded her phone like it was a state secret. She'd come home hours late from the studio, smelling of sandalwood and incense, with vague explanations about intensive chakra alignment. The final, undeniable signal was the lingerie. She started buying expensive, delicate silk things, pieces I never saw, that were clearly not for my benefit. Last spring, she took me to our favorite restaurant, the one where I proposed. That was my first clue something was up. Over dessert, she took a deep breath and launched into a carefully rehearsed speech about personal growth and the need to explore different connections. She proposed a conscious uncoupling for 1 week. A hall pass. And I assume, I said, keeping my voice perfectly level, you have someone specific in mind? She had the audacity to blush. Julian and I have formed a profound spiritual bond. He's leading an intensive, week-long retreat in Bali. It's purely for spiritual growth, to help me break through my blockages. She then waved a dismissive hand. You could, I don't know, go on a few dates? What about that woman from your office, Evelyn? Dr. Evelyn Reed. A brilliant mind with a PhD in computer science from MIT, my lead project partner, and the woman Vanessa had actively despised for years. She called her a stuck-up nerd who dresses like a librarian. The sheer, breathtaking nerve of it was stunning. She wanted me to foot the bill for her to fly across the world and sleep with her guru, while I was supposed to hit on the very woman she constantly denigrated. I took a slow sip of water, my mind racing. An opportunity was presenting itself. You know what, Vanessa, I said, looking her straight in the eye. That's a great idea. Let's do it. Her face lit up with triumphant relief. Really? Oh, Alex, you're so evolved. This is going to be so good for our relationship. She spent the rest of the evening on her phone, no doubt coordinating with Julian. I spent it composing an email to my boss. What Vanessa didn't know was that Evelyn and I had a standing invitation to present our new AI platform at the Global Tech Summit in Tokyo. It was a massive opportunity, the kind that defines a career. It happened to fall on the exact same week as her retreat. I had been planning to decline because I knew Vanessa would create a storm of drama about me traveling with Evelyn. But now I had a hall pass. The following Friday, I was packing my suitcase when Vanessa breezed in, draped in a new, flowing, ridiculously expensive boho chic outfit. Have an amazing week of self-reflection, honey. Julian says this retreat is going to change my life. It's an investment in our future. She paused, a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. So, where are you going for your little break? Tokyo, I said, zipping my bag with a satisfying finality. For the tech summit. With Evelyn. Her smile didn't just falter, it shattered. Evelyn? For a whole week? I thought you'd just go to a bar or something. Why would I do that when I can spend the week with a brilliant, respected, and powerful woman who is at the top of her field? I replied coolly. Besides, you're the one going to Bali with your life guide. Did you set a mileage limit on this hall pass that I wasn't aware of? Panic flared in her eyes. But a work trip is different. You know how she is. She's just trying to get her claws into you. You should have thought of that before you booked a non-refundable ticket to paradise with a guy whose salary I'm effectively paying for, I said, walking past her. This whole thing, the studio, the clothes, Julian, it's all funded by me. Have fun finding your enlightenment, Vanessa. I walked out, leaving her standing there in stunned, open-mouthed silence. The frantic texts started before my Uber even hit the highway. We need to set clear boundaries. A week is way too long. I'm canceling my trip. Evelyn is a professional predator. If you go to Tokyo with her, we are over. I turned my phone off and boarded the plane. Tokyo was a whirlwind. Evelyn and I were perfectly in sync. Our presentation was flawless, and the response was overwhelming. We landed a $4 million contract for the company on the spot. That night, our team celebrated with a formal dinner. I posted a few carefully curated photos to my Instagram story, the glittering Tokyo skyline from my hotel room, a professional shot of our team toasting with sake, and one of me and Evelyn on stage, shaking hands with the conference organizer, a picture of pure professional triumph. I turned my phone back on Saturday night. It was absolute carnage. 67 missed calls. 156 texts. The story that unfolded was one of pure, pathetic comedy. Julian, the guru, had collected the retreat fees from a dozen wealthy women and vanished. He was a professional con artist. Vanessa had spent 2 days alone in a cheap Bali hotel, her fantasy crumbling, before she finally accepted she'd been scammed. The most telling text read, "This is your fault. Your negative energy and jealousy sabotaged my spiritual journey. I'm stranded and it's on you. I simply texted back, Tokyo is great. Landed a huge deal. See you Sunday. I came home to a war zone. The house looked like it had been ransacked. Vanessa was pacing, hair greasy, makeup smeared from crying, still in her wrinkled travel clothes. We need to talk, she said, her voice trembling with a mixture of rage and desperation. I made a huge mistake. The Bali thing was a disaster. Julian is a fraud. So you were just another one of his marks? I asked calmly, setting my suitcase down. She flinched as if I'd slapped her. That's a horrible thing to say. Is it? Or is it just the unvarnished truth? You wanted my permission and my money to go cheat on me, and the guy didn't even want you. He just wanted your cash. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she wailed, the dam of her composure breaking. You were supposed to be at home, sad and lonely. Moping. Not often Tokyo winning awards with that librarian. And there it was. The core of her rage. It wasn't about my potential infidelity. It was that her grand, selfish plan had imploded while my life had spectacularly improved in the span of 5 days. You're right, I said, my voice cold and hard. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be your safety net forever. Your walking ATM. I'm done. I pulled a folder from my briefcase and slid it onto the table. These are from my lawyer. I want a divorce. The divorce was ugly, but my lawyer, a shark named Marcus, was brilliant. Vanessa's attempts to paint me as a manipulative, controlling villain fell apart under the mountain of evidence, her texts, her credit card statements, her frantic, blaming messages from Bali. The real bombshell for her, however, came during the financial disclosure. Her lawyer had to explain to her that the house was a premarital asset, solely in my name. That the bulk of our wealth was my invested company stock options, legally mine. She wasn't entitled to half of everything. She was entitled to practically nothing. Her world didn't just crumble, it was obliterated. The high-end real estate firm, aka Daddy, let her go for underperformance. The leased Mercedes was repossessed. Her designer wardrobe was sold for pennies on Poshmark. Meanwhile, my life blossomed. I was promoted to director of engineering with a massive raise and stock package. And yes, Evelyn and I started dating. She's funny, grounded, brilliant, and thinks the concept of a hall pass is the most absurdly juvenile thing she's ever heard. If I wanted to be with someone else, she said one night, I'd have the decency to break up with you first. A revolutionary concept. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, my phone rang with a blocked number. It was Vanessa. Her voice was broken. She was crying, telling me she was about to be evicted from her tiny apartment. Her father, tired of her drama, had finally cut her off. She'd been working as a waitress and couldn't make rent. She sobbed through an apology, admitting how selfish and entitled she'd been, and then asked if I could lend her some money, just to get back on my feet. I was sitting in my new truck, a Ford F-150 I'd always wanted, parked outside a restaurant where I was about to celebrate Evelyn being named a partner at her new venture capital firm. The irony was so thick I could taste it. You know, Vanessa, I said, my voice devoid of all emotion. I have an idea. Why don't you ask Julian for help? You two had such a profound spiritual connection. A choke sob came through the phone. He's in jail, Alex. They caught him in Mexico. That's a shame, I said. Well, you're a grown woman. Figure it out. I hung up the phone and blocked the number. Evelyn, who had heard my side of the call, looked at me with an unreadable expression. That was harsh. Was it? I asked. Probably, she said, a small smile playing on her lips. But I get it. She made her bed. Now she has to lie in it. The last I heard, Vanessa moved back into her parents' guest house. She works as a receptionist at the local community college to pay them rent. The universe, it seems, has a wicked sense of humor. Because Evelyn, on top of her VC work, teaches a night class there on Tuesdays, Intro to Python for Entrepreneurs. Every week, Vanessa has to look up, force a smile, and say, "Good evening, Dr. Reed. Have a good class." Well, that was a good story. Do you think Vanessa got what she deserved? Do you think Alex should have been the bigger man and handled it differently? Let me know. Remember, I am up for stories and suggestions. Shoot me an email or mention it in the comments and I may put it on the channel. Until the next time, have a great day, everyone.